What's up, everybody? It's Zach, the Celtics guy here. I'm back with another video, and I'm here to report on an issue that's been sweeping our nation at the moment. And there's several laws and bills that have been sweeping our nation, and I'm not too happy reading about this. And it kind of just goes to show that there is a big sweeping amount of anti-LGBT bigotry that is sweeping our nation, especially with regards to transgender people. And this is an issue where I would say this is exactly why this country needs the Equality Act sooner rather than later. Because anti-transgender bills have been passed in West Virginia, I believe Florida, and a few other places, saying that trans males or trans females can't go into the sports team that their gender identifies with, and so on and so forth, which again I think is just, it's fucking third world bullshit, and it's the type of thinking that is gonna drag our nation backwards and take us back to the friggin' Dark Ages, which is exactly where the neocon Republicans have their mindset in. Now again, the same political party that always preaches about limited government is using the government to violate human rights. That just goes to show how hypocritical they are. Republicans love small government until it comes to minority rights, because when it comes to minority rights, they want to undermine minority rights. Like, for example, all the politicians that wanted to ban gay marriage back in the 2000s, like Tim Hulskamp, who has said incredibly bigoted things about gay people and trans people and all that, and Marilyn Musgrave has as well. Vicky Hartzler has as well. You got these people that compare gay marriage to fucking incest and bestiality. You have Rick Santorum doing the same thing. You have Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil, and the Law and Justice Party in Poland doing the same thing. You got all these bigoted people that are doing the same thing, running our country and running other nations as well. So they don't want trans people going. And then you got Caitlyn Jenner in California, who is basically a self-loathing transgender, who is basically anti-trans. It's really no different than how Milo Yiannopoulos is pretty much a self-loather. And I know that that's an unpopular opinion, but whatever, it is what it is. So you got these people doing it, and then you got fucking Caitlyn Jenner catering to these same people that want to undermine the rights of her community and the rights of my community, me being gay myself. And it just goes to show that we need the Equality Act now. I know the fact that the U.S. is a federation, which means that we have laws that vary by state and so on and so forth, but the problem with that is that if you leave certain issues up to the states, it's going to decide one way or the other whether or not they want to actually uphold the rights of minorities or the rights of trans people or whoever, because you got some states protect gay people, some states do not, and I don't think that is right. Because Australia is a federation, and there are sexual orientation and gender identity protections across the board in all states and territories of Australia, for example. Brazil is also a federation, and they have protections for gay people, I believe, in all of their 26 states as well. Well, it probably isn't going to be that way for long if they keep fucking Jair Bolsonaro in power, because, you got that bigoted prick ass, right-wing, neocon, corrupt fucking prick asshole in power who's going to undermine their rights. And so that's why we need a national stand on protecting sexual orientation and gender identity. Now, the thing is, there are certain things that SJWs and leftists will do. They use these ridiculous pronouns like fucking Z, zip, and zer and all that. Like, oh, you need to identify me as that. And I don't agree with that. I especially don't agree with that. And I think that's, I think that's just a bunch of ridiculous nonsense, and that's just a way for SJWs to use their politically correct agenda, and I think a lot of it is just part of a fucking agenda. Now that I agree with. Some people think, oh, the Equality Act is going to force you to do that or whatever. I don't know if that's true or not. What I think about the Equality Act is we need a national stand that is going to protect gay people and trans people in the areas of employment, public accommodations, healthcare, and all that. Because in more than half this damn country, it is perfectly legal to discriminate against someone who's gay or someone who's trans. For trans people, it's even worse. There are some states that protect sexual orientation only, but don't protect gender identity. See, that's the problem. Because if you have this issue on a state to state basis, you're gonna have these states picking and choosing. One state could be more progressive on this issue. Other states could be more backward on these issues. So, this is why it was a really good thing that the Supreme Court back in 2015 made gay marriage legal in all 50 states. Because there was a lot of states where it was illegal. There were some states where it was legal, other states it was illegal, and all that. But no, I don't believe in any type of bill or law or anything like that that would say, oh, you have to force this person to call this person by their pronouns or this, and this. No, I don't fucking agree with that. I think that's stupid. Okay? I think that's stupid. I don't agree with that at all. And if there is a bill, which I don't know what kind of bill that would be, but if there is, I would come out and speak out against it because I'm against it. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that type of thing. I really don't. I don't believe in this whole non-binary thing either. I don't believe, this whole, like, the certain gender. Now, see, if someone is transitioning from a male to female, or someone was transitioning from a female to a male, I'll gladly call them by whatever pronoun or gender that they want to affiliate with, that they feel corresponds to how they were born. And I will totally be accommodating to that. I have a few friends that are trans, a couple in real life, and on this website, Jennifer, that I met through Damien Skyfire's group. And so I will do that. I mean, of course, me being a gay male myself, of course I'm going to, respect other minorities' rights and all that, and respect how they feel. But no, if there's some type of identity, and my boyfriend Steven, who's on this website as well, that's how I met him, he also pointed this out, and he said that, look, if you're trying to go with this certain identity that I don't believe is real, then I'm not going to affiliate with that. And I agree with that. Like this whole non-binary, gender fluid, and blah, blah, blah. Now, see, that type of stuff is going too far. And people who pull shit like that, the leftists and SJWs and, like, these feminists and all that, like these ultra-feminists that try to pull that type of shit, you guys are part of the fucking problem as to why these anti-trans bills are getting passed in the first place. And I'm not blaming them for it. I'm blaming the Republicans and any other politicians that are doing this shit. But you guys are inciting this type of stuff with the whole non-binary thing, or I'm going to force you. You have to say this or that. No, you can't fucking force anyone to say anything. Because when you're forcing someone to say something or to do something, that is authoritarian. That ain't right. I don't agree with that whatsoever. And with that being said, that's wrong, and I will come out and I will say that is wrong. Now, with the issue of anti-trans bills being passed in our damn country, it just goes to show the amount of bigotry amongst the Republicans. And I'm not talking about all the Republicans, because, again, there are many Republicans that don't give a shit. There are many right-wingers that don't give a shit. The governor of my state, Charlie Baker of Massachusetts, he is pro-gay marriage. He raised money for Question 3, which was a ballot vote to uphold gender identity protections in Massachusetts. And there was a referendum on that, and not only did Charlie Baker support that, but he raised money for Question 3. He did all those types of things. And, it's all that. There are a lot of pro-LGBT Republicans, Chris Sununu in New Hampshire, Susan Collins of Maine. You go down the list. Most of them don't give a shit at this point. Even some more traditionalists like Mitt Romney doesn't even give a shit. But there are certain, homophobes in this country that do care, like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and the Bushes and all these other people. Tim Hulskamp, Marilyn Musgrave, Vicky Hartzler, Rick Santorum, all these bigoted politicians, all these bigoted motherfuckers. Yeah, I come out and call them out. There are the politicians in like Florida and West Virginia and all these other fucking places, which makes me grateful that I do live in a state like Massachusetts that does protect against sexual orientation and all of that. Massachusetts was actually the first state to legalize gay marriage in this country. Massachusetts, we have our problems, we have our faults, okay? But at the end of the day, we're not violating the rights of fucking minority rights and saying about, oh, trans people shouldn't go in this sports team that they identify with their gender and all that, okay? Here's the thing. You motherfuckers are a bunch of hypocrites, just like I have said all along. Just like many other people have said all along. You're the same fucking people that want to preach about limited government, and you want limited government, lower taxes, and all that. Yeah, you want all of that stuff. But when it comes to minority rights, you want the government to be involved. You are only for small government when it benefits you. But when you don't believe in a situation where, oh, trans people deserve the same rights, gay people deserve the same rights, you come out and say, no, I'm going to be the most big government, bigoted motherfucker imaginable. Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil pulls the same neocon, bigoted, tired statement as well. Okay? He says, like, oh, yeah, limited government in Brazil. Yeah, the leftists and the liberals are using the government to When in reality, it's actually the opposite. Now, look, I don't affiliate with either the left or the right. I'm really just independent. I lean a little more leftward. But I'm not a leftist. I don't even consider myself a liberal, because liberalism has been fucking hijacked in this day and age. Liberalism has been taken over by ultra leftists and all that. So no, I don't affiliate with that side either. But all these neocons want to violate the rights of minorities. You got Jair Bolsonaro has said terribly bigoted things about gay people and trans people and other minorities as well. All these politicians have. Rick Santorum has as well. Ron DeSantis in Florida also had said it as well. All these people have said terribly bigoted things. Mike Pence has said things about gay people as well. All these people. Tim Hulskamp saying that gay people shouldn't be allowed to marry. Gay people shouldn't be allowed to have kids. Jair Bolsonaro thinks that gay couples that have kids are going to molest their fucking kids. It's just fucking crazy. You got these people are just bigoted. They're bigoted and they're fucking dicks, and they got nothing better to do with their time. And in reality, they would love a big dick in their mouth. They would love nothing but a big dick and balls in their mouth. You know it, because they're so in that fucking closet. You just know that they are so in that closet. And minority rights are under attack by big government bigoted neocons. And this is why we need the Equality Act to pass and have sexual orientation and gender identity be protected in all 50 states. We need to catch up with the rest of the world with regards to this, because the U.S. is very far behind. All of our fucking ultra-patriotic, nationalist right-wing politicians in our damn country and their followers are always saying, oh, America's the greatest country in the world, and oh, we're the fucking greatest. And I made a video about this before. We're anything but the greatest in the world. We're like 30-something ranking in healthcare, 14th in freedom, and we don't have protections for sexual orientation and gender identity in most of the country. There's only a select places that do. Luckily, Massachusetts does. New England, especially the West Coast and all that. I mean, the Midwest is probably the worst for gay people. Probably. Even there was even a time when Indiana, where Stephen is from, Indiana used to be terrible for gay people, especially with Mike Pence in the fucking office. You know, Mike Pence was violating the rights of LGBT people in Indiana on a daily basis with this fucking religious freedom bill and all of that. But luckily, Indiana has made progress on the issue of protecting LGBT rights. They passed a hate crime law protecting sexual orientation and gender identity a few years back. So no, actually, but the funny thing is most people don't care. And a place like Indiana is basically just a moderate Republican state, essentially. I mean, it's a swing state, but it's more so just like a moderate Republican state. Like, I've heard all these, like, before I met Steven, before he was even in the picture, I was always reading these articles that Indiana was a big backward state, and in a way, I kind of believed that, because all these things I was reading about Mike Pence and the religious fucking freedom bill, and all this other shit that he was doing. But come to find out, I meet someone from Indiana, and even more ironically, I meet someone from Columbus, Indiana, Steven, of course, who literally is from the same city that Mike Pence was fucking mayor of. That's the most ironic thing about the whole thing. But then going there several times, Indiana's pretty moderate. Indiana's pretty moderate, and it goes to show that nobody cares about this issue. Nobody really cares about this issue. It's really the politicians and their select few followers that care. It's really the select few followers that care. But luckily, Indiana has made progress on this issue. Thankfully, a lot of states have made progress on these issues. Okay, a lot of places have made progress on these issues. But there are some states that are going backwards on this issue. There are like West Virginia and Florida. Idaho is another example. All these fucking backwards parts of the country are going fucking backwards. And you know what? You know what I say? If you're going to violate the rights of minorities, okay, you know what? I don't like or care about Joe Biden at all. I really don't. I think he's just another neoliberal fucking hack, status quo. I don't care for Joe Biden either. But there's one thing I really wish that Joe Biden would do. You know what he should do? You know what all these politicians ought to do? Any state that violates the rights of minorities, like the way West Virginia and Florida is doing, or any of these other states are doing, cut their fucking funding. Cut their federal funding. Hit them where it hurts the most. Their fucking pockets. Hit them in their fucking pockets. Stop sending them money, cut their federal funding, and just see. Once the money stops floating in for these fucking neocons who love money and preach about the fucking benefits of fucking capitalism and all that, you'll see just how fast, once they lose their money and lose lobbyist money for their government institutions and all that, you'll see how fast they switch around. Look at what Mike Pence did when all these states were boycotting Indiana. You saw how fast he turned around. That's what we need to do with all these other places that are doing the same thing. Okay? Hit them where it hurts the most, in their pockets. Because that's what the neocons care about the most. So hit them there. Any of these places that do any of this shit, cut their federal funding and see how they feel. That's exactly what you need to do. Say, no, we're not going to send you money. We're not going to help you if you're going to violate the rights of minorities. Us in Washington, the central government, we ain't going to help you. If you want to violate the rights of minorities, that's fine. But you're on your fucking own. You're not going to take our money. We're not sending you money. We're not going to do business with you. You're on your fucking own. And if you don't like it, then change your laws. It's like, you can do whatever you want. It's like but you're not free from the consequences of your actions. That's what needs to be done on this issue. So, many parts of our country are going backwards on the issue of minorities' rights, and this is why we need the Equality Act to pass sooner rather than later. Because until we pass the Equality Act, the neocons in this country are going to continue to violate the rights of minorities and others, and are going to violate the rights of gay people and trans people on a day-to-day basis. They're going to continue to do it, and until the Equality Act is passed, they're just gonna keep it up. So this is why we need to pass the Equality Act now, not later. Now we need it now. It goes to show that gay people and trans people need to be a protected class, because if they're not, then people like the politicians in West Virginia and Tim Hulskamp and all these other people and Jair Bolsonaro will violate their rights in a second. This is why we need it. This is why we need it now. Pass the Equality Act now. And if anyone thinks that that's bigoted or think that there's bigotry on the left against these Christians and all that, no, they're not bigots. If you want to look at bigots, you look at someone like Tim Hulskamp, you look at someone like Marilyn Musgrave, you look at someone like Mike Pence or Ron DeSantis or Jair Bolsonaro or somebody like that. Thank you all for listening, and hope you all enjoyed this video. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Did you agree with my position? Do you disagree with my position? Are you liberal? Are you conservative? Do you fall somewhere in between? But either way, let me know what you think. And you know, if you agree with my position, if you don't, it's totally fine. Like I said, I will not berate you. I always want people to know that they can have different opinions. If you're more traditional, that's fine. I have some conservative listeners that I have no qualms with. I have some conservative listeners, some more traditional, and they don't care about this issue either. My criticism, again, as I have to state, doesn't apply to you guys. It applies to the politicians who are violating the rights of minorities, who want to sit there and say that we're the bigots, when in reality, they're the biggest bigots of all. But thank you all for listening, and I'll be back with more videos soon and more content and a whole bunch of other stuff in the works. Stay tuned to find out more and more videos on the way. And I'm going to just continue to call them out and expose them for the hypocrites that they are. Because if they want to sit there and call us bigots and all that, when in reality, they're the biggest hypocrites around. So if you want to talk about bigots, you don't look to the left, you look further to the right. You look at people like Tim Hulskamp, Marilyn Musgrave, Vicky Hartzler, Rick Santorum, Jair Bolsonaro, the politicians that are running West Virginia right now, and people like that. Peace, and have a nice day, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye for now. Have a good day.